All right. How's it going, everybody? Boom! Woo! There it is.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Here we are.
How are you? Is it? Are you hot? I'm hot.
No, I forgot my hoodie. But
would you like mine?
no,
I don't
I'm
think
all
I need
right.
it.
I'm okay.
Oof.
It's a balmy 71. It's gotten all the
Here.
way up to 71 down here.
Yeah, I'm
so.
hot.
Wow.
Eesh.
I am not, but I'm comfortable, so that's a change. Usually I'm freezing. When we first started off being down in, because we're in a basement space, it was about 66 degrees regularly, and now it's all the way up to 71. So
Amazing. Who knows what the winter will bring?
we haven't seen you guys in 2 weeks.
So we'll talk about that. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Puppet Parent Podcast.
Hi, I'm Z, and I am co-artistic director of Wonder Spark Puppets.
Wow, and I'm Chad. I'm the other co-artistic director. Yeah, things have happened. We had to take a bye last week. I had 2 Unima board meetings. Unima USA, we had like our general meeting and then a new board meeting because a new board had to be elected and stuff. Crazy, and it took a long time, and I was so tired afterwards.
Busy.
Super busy. And next week, guess what? Next week we won't be recording at 3 p.m. because we'll be performing a show at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Puppet Show Place Theater. They're having us over. Yeah, to be part of the end of summer series. It's the end of the summer, Z.
I know.
All of the big jobs that we got in July have now petered down and have ended. This week, it seems like all summer camps just end halfway through August. It's like, boom, that's it. Now you got a couple weeks to think about school. People have been thinking a long time about school.
I think
this
everybody's been thinking about school.
year. Yeah.
Well, if you're wondering if we've been thinking about school, we have. We've made the decision to stay here until at least the end of September, and then we will see what the future holds. We're taking this day by day, week by week, and month by month. So, we've had a couple people ask us, are you leaving New York City? And the answer is no, we're not leaving New York City, but we're here right now because it feels like the right choice for our family for lots of reasons. If any of our New York City loved ones and neighbors are watching this right now, we miss you so much. And especially if you've been trying to get in touch with me. I love you, and I'm sorry that I haven't written back or been more communicative. It's I feel like every day is like kind of a set schedule, and we do that schedule, and we get through the day, and then most of the time I'm out where there's very poor cell signal and little to no internet at all, which is at the parents' house. So if I'm there, I don't even look at my phone. Because what's the point? Because it's not going to probably connect anyways unless I'm standing like in a certain spot against a certain window, and then maybe it'll work. But
You ever hear that old that old story about a guy who accidentally it was either that he accidentally got called by someone who was looking for Verizon, or he would purposely mess with people by calling people up. But anyway, he was talking to somebody on the phone. And they were like, it's a new phone. How do I... Oh, no. I think it must have been over email. Yeah. Somebody who's like a professional prankster. And they were telling them, okay, great. Congratulations on your new Verizon phone. Okay, now we're doing this new satellite service, so you don't have to go into a store to activate your phone like normal. No. So the satellite is pretty high orbit. So this is what you do. You have to hold the phone high up in the air, about like 6 to 10 feet, and you have to say the passcode, which is activate.
No.
So he says somebody somewhere is holding a phone up in the air, shouting, "Activate! Activate!"
that's mean.
It is, but of course it's all fake. I mean, it can't be real. Or who would believe that, right?
People believe things.
Yeah, I know people will believe anything, but
People believe things.
It made me laugh. It brought me joy to, read this story of some prankster, right? Pranks in real life aren't funny, but fake pranks on the internet can sometimes make people laugh, right?
Speaking of parenting and pranks, that is something that we've been dealing with in our house, in our family unit, is teaching our 7-year-old the difference between something that's funny and a joke and something that's a prank and mean. Because it's hard sometimes to figure out what that line is. So that's been interesting. Or if he makes a bad choice, sometimes he'll say, oh, well, that was a prank. And I'm like, well, is anybody laughing? Because a prank is funny for everybody, usually, right?
Except the person
Maybe the person who's being
pranked.
pranked, but nobody's laughing. So nobody thought that was funny. I don't know. It's just interesting. Pranks. You've brought up that word, so I've been thinking a lot about
That's
that
like
word
a trigger
lot.
word in our household because my brother loves pranking people, and he has passed that on to the next generation. Is love of pranks. Hi V. Hi. Hey. And as the recipient of many pranks growing up, and then even in my 20s, I hate pranks. Hate them. I dislike them, and I feel like a lot of pranks are mean-spirited, and the prankster's credo when they're told that, hey, that wasn't funny, they're like, oh no, you gotta laugh too, like, come on, you gotta be a part of this, and then we can go prank someone together. It's always like, let's pass on the meanness to somebody else, and that'll make you feel better. Kind of a, I don't know. I'm not really into that kind of humor because I felt like I was always the victim.
And I was an only child, so I had nobody to play pranks on except for my stuffed animals. So I just didn't really have an audience for that.
Mm-hmm. And then I hosted a podcast with my brother, who for years, a weekly podcast where he would remind me of some of his pranks that he pulled on me as a kid and laugh at me about them, and I still felt really burned up about it. So I was like double dislike pranks. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I'm thank you for sharing that. And
Sure.
And our child is now navigating the world of pranks in a family right now out here that some people enjoy pranks and some people don't enjoy pranks. And he reads books about kids who enjoy pranks. So
Yeah.
It's interesting to navigate that with him and help him to understand things that are silly and funny but won't hurt anybody or cause any damage, and then the difference between that and then the other end of it where it's like, no, somebody got hurt, damage was caused, nobody's laughing, that is actually not a prank, that was just you making a really bad choice. So, yeah.
Yeah, when did the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series come out?
I don't know, but I'm not a huge proponent of that one as much. I don't mind Captain Underpants because I shouldn't say I don't mind. I like Captain Underpants. I think it's fun and it's silly, but I feel like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Now I haven't read a ton of them. I read some of it and then I couldn't get myself to read more of it. I found it to be highlighting the worst parts of school, and we've purposefully put him in a school that will hopefully not have as much of that kind of stuff in it. So him reading books that continuously dwell on the worst parts of humanity, I feel like just wasn't what I want. Now, granted, Captain Underpants, the principal is not nice, right? He's not understanding of the boys wanting to create art and be imaginative and stuff, but then they kind of turn it on its head and make some really amazing imaginative stuff happen, and it's very silly and it's a lot of potty humor, which they're not allowed to use in real life, but it's okay in pretend life. So
I feel like the difference between the two is like one is like life is suffering,
yes,
and this is brutal, and he always the main character always manages to survive and turn the tables towards the end. And the other one is this surreal, crazy landscape where that everything is super silly,
yep, and
nothing really matters, and it's like Looney Tunes where if somebody gets hurt, like they're gonna be fine. Yeah, and like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it's like every book is like starts in abject misery, which I guess, to be fair, a lot of fiction is like that. You have to have you start in this low point, like Harry Potter starts, like every book ends where he's like the king of the world, and then next book he's like right back down to being under the stairs again, and maybe that's a trope, I don't know.
I love Harry Potter.
But there's definitely a
I want to say
prank book.
My kids and I will be reading Harry Potter together. It is a parenting dream of mine. No one can take that from me.
Not even J.K. herself.
Nope, it's happening. J.K., sorry. I know you wanted to read the kids personally yourself, but I will be doing that.
Oh no, I mean,
what do you mean? What do you say?
No, I mean, a lot of people have said, I'm removing the author from the art.
No, I don't feel that way at all. She's
and...
brilliant person, and
okay.
I mean, she created something that resonated so deeply with so many people, including myself.
Yeah.
So, and I like the way that people, I think, feel about Star Wars is a little bit of the way I feel about Harry Potter, and I cannot wait to read these books. And I know a lot of kids Leaf's age, our 7-year-old, I've started them on the books, but I'm waiting until Finn is in first grade or second grade so that we can read them all together and enjoy them all together as a family. That's my hope, is to enjoy the books together. So
right.
I'm so excited.
So number two's got to get on the reading. He's on the slow train to reading.
He's on the train at the right speed, though.
Yeah.
He's just starting kindergarten.
I know.
The fact that he knows all of his letter sounds and can do some blends and things is huge. So I think he's doing great. And
today's kindergarten isn't like, I know there's like, there's every kid has their own path and everyone's on their own speed. Mm-hmm. But I feel like kindergarten today is like, oh man, if you don't know how to read coming in, well, we will like crank that out quick because we got to move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing. Like you'll be multiplying by the end of kindergarten.
That's no okay.
But
that's
like
not the school that our kids go to.
I know.
Yeah. So.
But I'm saying in general, because even if your kid goes to a special school, they still have to get up to speed with everyone else that's at a certain point, because they all take the same kind of test at the end of 12 years of schooling.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. But now the ACTs and the SATs are kind of out the window too. So I mean, for a diploma. Oh yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, like, I don't know what you're saying, but it's our kids go to a different type of school though, so that they don't have to have those kinds of challenges so early on. Right,
but at some point they have to balance out. Like they have to learn all this stuff because you have to take the Regents exam in order to get.
But Regencies might not exist anymore.
Okay.
Like all this stuff might not even exist by the time they're in high school.
Uh-huh.
Like they're re-examining the entire educational model, which is great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm sure people didn't want to be doing that in the midst of a pandemic, but it's interesting that is, like, no kids took the Regents exams this year. I don't think. I'm not sure. I don't have a kid in high school, so I didn't pay that much attention to it. But there was definitely news items about that. New York State, we have these exams that you have to take. Every state's different.
Ours are supposedly one of the toughest, rigorous testing models in terms of like the level of difficulty that you have to pass in order to get it.
Well, let me tell you though, you can play the system because you can be failing in the class and pass the Regents exam and then pass the class and get to go on. Or you could be getting A+ in the class, fail the Regents, and fail the class. So you have to pass the Regents no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I definitely took advantage of that the other way, which was failing the class, not caring about the class, and then getting a great grade on the Regents. I don't recommend that for anybody, but I wasn't a good student. I was for a while, and then around 6th, 7th grade, things started to so.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of attitudes have changed. A lot of people feel like, there's the whole joke or meme about like, back in the day, we blame the students. Now we blame the teachers, right? Or we blame the system. But I think it's good that we're all looking at our system with a critical eye, especially because we know more and more and more about kids and how they develop and our systems of handling kids are just getting better and better and better as our understanding increases.
I will tell you one thing that I'm concerned about being a parent. After I cough. Excuse me. The tea went down the wrong pipe. Just another relatable moment on the Puppet Parent podcast. So the thing that I am having some feelings about right now, because every time we meet, we always talk about like, well, what's on your mind right now as a parent? So right now, what's on my mind is that my kids aren't going to miss possibly an entire year of classes of the types of things that they really enjoy. So my one son loves gymnastics. Like, he loved it so much. He was doing gymnastics twice a week. He's 5 years old, and he turned 5 during the pandemic. And he just loves gymnastics. And I don't feel like I can safely put him in a gymnastics class right now and be okay with me. I don't think I would be okay because I would be so freaked out the whole time. And then also, both of them, our 7 and 5-year-old, were taking ice skating lessons. They loved ice skating. I don't feel like I can do that. And
hopefully when we get back to it, our younger son will be a bit more mature, because I feel like the last few classes they went to, he was definitely like the problem child who was just like not listening and messing with people and distracting everyone and trying to like get some of the kids to come over in the corner and play with him, or finding the one hockey puck in the rink that they could play with, and just like not listening. But it was what we did on Wednesdays, so you can't break the routine. But it was like...
I didn't realize that, because I wasn't there on Wednesdays with them at those classes.
I mean, not every time was bad like that, but it was like he started to have a serious, attention problem. Okay. Probably because he was just tired.
Yeah, it's the end of the day, too. But that was our Wednesdays. And then my 7-year-old was taking piano lessons and had been doing really well with that and really enjoying it. And while we could have continued virtually with the piano lessons, everything just felt like so much all the time between the school and us working and being in the tiny apartment. And then being out here, we don't have access at the house to the internet. And also, we didn't have a working keyboard. So it just felt like we'll just wait on the piano lessons. But now, as things are starting up again, one of the kids' cousins signed up for dance classes here locally, and I just had to go, oh no, dance classes, because Finn, the 5-year-old who takes gymnastics, also really loves dance, and he was saying, I would love to take dance. Kelsey's taking dance, and it's like, sorry, man, I just can't.
We're being super cautious.
Yeah, we're being super cautious. Also, we live with the grandparents, right? So I think it's different. If you're not living with people who are 60 or older, maybe it feels easier to make some of those choices that put you in a slightly higher risk, even though the risk is low, because the data says the risk is low here in New York State. I still, like last night, we had friends who are dear friends of mine from my undergraduate school, and they all congregated like about 3 miles away at a friend's house outdoors, but then it started to rain, and I thought, I'm not going to go, because if it's raining, that means that either they're all inside in a house or they're under some kind of like small enclosure, and I can't do that. I can't do that. Hanging out with one friend in a driveway at night when nobody else is around and we're far apart from each other, that's okay. But I still wear a mask the whole time.
I'm surprised that they didn't, that it wasn't virtual. Because, I mean, on Friday, I helped our friend Lindsay celebrate her birthday, and it was like, we had like 30 people, and they're from all over the country. And that's like a tremendous strength, It's just like, I'm just going to log in from home. I got everything I need. There's no danger. There's no risk, especially to Lindsay, because she has ALS, Yeah. And is vulnerable. And it was wonderful. And everyone had like stuff to share. And with the power of, I ran tech. So I was like spotlighting and people sending me videos to share and stuff like that. And so it was just like, it was nice. And I've hung out with friends like virtually too. It's like every week or every month or so, check in with people. But, I wouldn't hang out with them for real right now because why would you, It's like...
Well, I had seen Anj that once, and I'll probably do that again. But again, it's at night. Neither of us have our kids around. We're sitting in her driveway. It's a beautiful evening, and we're still wearing masks.
Yeah.
Which, I was the one to say it would make me feel more comfortable if we both wore masks, because she didn't have one on when I arrived.
No.
And I said, I just feel like that would make me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not agoraphobic, but I think that the situation has led me to a place of really thinking twice about going into places or being in any kind of situation with a large crowd. We tested every Wednesday by going to the auction, which is an outdoor event. There are a lot of people.
That's our one.
It's our one outing.
Our one thing, yeah.
It's our one outing every Wednesday, but it's outside, and we're both wearing masks, and we don't get close to anybody. So
yeah, we stay as far away from. I mean, that's like the one thing that like, if somebody were to be like, you guys are hypocrites, that would be the one thing that like, we stay away from people as much as possible, except for Wednesdays. But we're like in and out of there. I don't know. I feel like I could justify that in my brain, but I feel like it's more like, and Jenny Rogers says better safe than sorry. I agree.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like it's like when you're driving or when you're parking your car, right? There's like certain things that would just make it easier to do, say like a couple time savers, right? And you're not going to get in trouble, while you're thinking about doing it, right? But it's just like if you get these behaviors ingrained, these bad behaviors ingrained, it's the one time that you're not thinking about it, that you've got some other stressor on your mind or in your brain that's causing you to not think twice or not look twice or something, that you're gonna wreck your car or something. So it's like that if we're vigilant all the time, to me it's easier than messing up sometime, because we weren't and feeling like I failed. It's much easier just to be safer all the time and be like, yeah, this is our game plan. Yeah. So grandpa, by the way, so switching gears.
Okay.
I've been project of the past week has been to clear out the old dog pen next to, we have like this pig pen that we all climbed in there and pitched in cleaning out at the beginning of the summer.
That's where I put my garden. It was very exciting.
Mm-hmm. How many probably like 100 cucumbers came out of there.
It's crazy. If you have a good cucumber dish, send it my way.
I ate an entire cucumber for lunch today.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, because there's so
we have
many.
To do it every day. Cucumbers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. Yep. But like I made a little burrito with like some bologna and mayo and some of the tomatoes from the garden too, and the whole cucumber diced, onions, cheese.
I had a cucumber tomato salad with feta cheese, balsamic vinegar, and olive oil.
You just got to dress up that cuke a little bit, and you got to eat it because there's so many.
I can't believe it. Seriously, if you've never had a garden before and you're looking at like, what should I plant? Like raised beds, that's you need good soil and a raised bed, but then cucumbers, man, you trellis that and then they just go crazy. We had so many. It was really remarkable.
Yeah. So
yeah, what were you saying? We switched gears.
We had cleaned that out, and it's maybe like 15 by 6. That pen. It's pretty small. So there's that pen adjoins to a shed, which is like just a bunch of stuff in that shed, and then on the other side of the shed is really big. Other pen, and the fences are double high. It was a dog pen once upon a time, and then it got expanded with like twice as much room, and it's been sitting there empty with trees growing in it and all kind like giant like virus berry bushes, like
virus berry bushes,
like
what?
You would get sick if you ate these berries.
Oh, okay. Poison
berry bushes. Thank you. Poison. Yeah. Yeah, what if it was like Snow White and the Wicked Queen was like, I'll get her sick with the virus.
With these
Would you like
bushes.
this apple?
Ew.
Yeah. You wouldn't take apples from a strange old lady nowadays. You shouldn't.
Yeah, what's
Here's
Halloween going to
quick
look like?
PSA. Well, everyone's talking about that right now,
Oh,
actually.
I haven't heard any talk about it.
The internet is like, Halloween is not canceled. Don't you dare say it's canceled.
Well, you can still dress up, but I don't think you can go trick-or-treating.
Well, here's the thing: is like you would wear a mask anyway, right? You would bundle up. You probably out in Western New York. It's probably going to be super cold, so you're probably wearing gloves.
You let the candy sit for a week before you eat it.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that the virus doesn't transmit on surfaces. So I think people are still going to do it. Are we going to do it? No, we're going to celebrate in a different way.
We'll have fun,
Yeah.
unique Halloween celebration. I don't know what that'll be. Just like I don't know what the future will be, but
Is it going to be like?
so you cleaned out the dog pen. So now what? Now what? I don't want to think about Halloween. It makes me sad.
Oh, well. I just want to like tell everybody how big of a job it is. It is tremendous. It's like 30 by 50. It's a huge space. And I was thinking today, why did I do that? I didn't have a good reason at all, but I just looked at it one day and I was like, all this is going to take is some time and effort and motivation, and I got that. And so I had to cut open the door because the door was sealed shut with all these bungee cord straps and chains, anything we could use to seal it. And all around the bottom of the pen are like metal stakes through the bottom because it's chain wire fencing, stakes through the bottom, cement blocks just smashed in there because there was a Malamute and an Akita, and they sat in there all day long, not doing anything, bored out of their minds. All they wanted to do was escape. If you have dogs and you have them outside in a pen, shame on you, because what a terrible, boring lifestyle. And of course they're going to act out. These dogs needed to run. So what happened was as soon as you opened the door, they would run. And then you'd have to go chase them. That was my life in high school. I was caring for these big, huge dogs that were as heavy as me, probably heavier. Anyway, so just went in there with... but it was good exercise. So went in there with like the old school shaker, weed whacker. I don't know if the shakers invented it, probably.
It's like
it's
a
a
scythe.
pole with a blade on the end.
It's similar to a scythe, like
Yeah.
a weed whacker.
But it's like a straight pole, and there's this kind of like diagonal kind of metal kind of sticking at the end, and you just kind of swing your hands
Brush
like a
cutter.
pendulum.
I don't know what you call it.
Kind of a thing. Jenny Rogers knows what I'm saying. Yeah, she's up there.
Yeah, she cleaned out brush under the pine trees last week to get rid of the poison nightshade, but then she got poison oak.
Oh,
Sorry, Jenny.
we do have some poison sumac.
Fells
on-
naphtha, oatmeal baths. Hope it clears up soon.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Thankfully, no poison, but prickers, lots of thorns.
Yes.
Yeah, and so
you did get cut a
once
couple
the-
times on your legs.
It was just like, so if you take out a small tree or a thick vine or something jutting out of the ground, it's there, and it's like a little knife, because even though you whacked it, you didn't whack it all the way down to the ground.
Right.
So it had to go through there with what do you call this tool?
Hedge trimmers.
Hedge trimmers, yeah, manual hedge trimmers, chopping them, but there's thousands and thousands. So I would just left them to die and wither and just did my business. Yeah, I got cut up all over my legs, but whatever. Threw the prickers over the fence. One of the fences is like what it used to be behind there, so there's all these thorns going like,
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
still
reach
happening
in.
on my pen too.
Oh,
like
no.
once a month, I have to go through and tell the thorns to stay on their side.
Yeah, so I did plenty of any wood, any of the big logs, we tossed right over the fence onto the thorns. We're like, take that, thorns, yeah. So it's been like 3 days, and our littlest one was a super big helper.
Yeah,
he helped
he
out
likes
tremendously.
to help a lot.
Yeah, he was out there for me within the sun for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like 2 days straight.
Yeah.
He was great. And we were like carrying wood from there all the way down to the fire pit, which is a good distance away and back. And he loved searching for bones because the dogs had buried. So there's like cow parts around here in the country, sometimes you can buy some cow parts and give them to your dogs to chew on. Like, but these weren't cow hooves. Usually you get cow hooves or horse hooves. These were like hips, leg bones that just got sawed up and put in a barrel down at the feed place, and you buy them by the pound, I think. Yep, and so you just toss them in there, and the dogs love just chewing on them because they got nothing else to do. So he was on an expedition. He likes looking for fossils down at the creek. Sometimes we find them. And he loved looking for bones. So the whole time, sometimes I was like, hey, can you move take these dead berry bushes out of here? And he's like, no, Daddy, I'm looking for bones. Looking for bones.
Maybe he'll be an archaeologist or paleontologist or something.
I don't know. It was definitely video gamey where I was like, how does he keep finding bones? Like by the end, there was enough for like an entire like army of cow legs.
Oh, that's so fun.
It was really fun. It was cool. And to have him be like super excited, like, Daddy, found another bone.
Yeah.
Wow. How'd you find it? Like, what? I don't even see it. And sometimes they were
great.
like buried under the cinder blocks. So after a couple days of watching me work out there and telling my dad, oh, it's good exercise, really good exercise, swing an axe around, my hands are hurt today because of just like, trying my best to chop down this tree with an axe. It would have taken a couple days. Finally, my dad was on board too. And he's like, yeah. And then it became like a father-son thing where he's like, ooh, do you want me to get out the chainsaw? And I was like, sure, why not? And so like with his, I think he still hasn't changed the blade on that chainsaw from years ago when we cut down the tree out in the woods. I think because it's still dull as hell. I was watching him with the chainsaw, and as it's going, I can see the blade going off of the chainsaw proper, like going, like there's like an inch at least of air in between the blade
Oh my goodness.
and the chainsaw thingy that's making it it's supposed to be holding on to it, and it's dull, and he's up in a ladder 20 feet up trying to knock down the tree. Yeah, don't tell Grandma that this happened.
Oh my God.
And I'm just at the bottom saying like, there's nothing I can do. Well, if he falls or anything bad happens, I guess I'll help. So I was definitely looking up the ladder at my dad with this terrible chainsaw with the blade whipping around me, like feeling like, okay, so if he falls, which part of him do I cushion, or do I just get out of the way?
Because there's a chainsaw and an active
and
live
a chainsaw.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
So we joked about that once that was done.
Jenny wants to know how old our kids are. Our kids are 5 years old, and 7 years old, and they're two boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one is like the golden child, where there's like where he loves helping and he loves giving things to people, and he's this
but he makes
happy-go-lucky
mistakes too. He's not perfect.
No, I mean absolutely.
He's not a golden child. They will watch this someday, Chad.
Let me tell you, if you're watching this from the future, you were awesome.
Stop.
No, it's what? Whatever. No, sorry. So can he sit down and hyper focus or make art or tell you an obscure Pokemon encyclopedia entry? No, he cannot. That's the strength of our older son.
He can, though. He sat and did a puzzle with me today. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, we all have our different strengths
and weaknesses.
But I wouldn't call either of them the golden child.
In that way, no. So in the movie The Golden Child is what I'm referencing.
Okay.
Is a reference. In the movie The Golden Child, there's this monk, this monk kid who is like completely selfless, where like the evil people are trying to, to kidnap. That's why I say golden child.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's like teaching the adults how to be selfless, how to be better people. And sometimes it feels like, wow, he is helping me out here in the hot sun for 2 hours for no promise other than maybe a treat afterwards, And I was like, that's awesome,
They're both amazing. They're both amazing kids in their own way.
She is politicking for the future for when our kids watch this. Let me tell you, spoiler alert, they're not going to watch this. There's no way.
They might. And the internet's forever. And I just want to be clear that we love both of you so much. And you're both working on stuff. They're both working on things. And actually, I want to put in a plug for the older child.
Let's talk up the older kid because they're both amazing.
He's been doing great. He has things that he's been working on, and he's been doing really, really well at them, to the point where I think in a couple weeks we're going to switch what he's working on.
Yeah.
Because he's not working on that anymore. He got it. And so that's huge for this kid, because usually we are inconsistent as a family about working on something and then making sure it's really solid before we let it go. And so this being out here and having the routine of being out here and the support of his parents has really allowed for us to be consistent with how long we're continuing to have things go on, that it's not just 2 weeks, it's like a month and a half, maybe even 2 months, that we're making sure that something is really in there.
Well, I would say, just because you praise somebody, just because you talk somebody up, doesn't automatically mean that praise means that somebody else is lesser.
Jenny, I see you, by the way. You and me? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you think like when you're like 80, like child number 2 is going to be like, I listen to the podcast, Grandma. No, take me to the nice nursing home. No, you're going to the terrible one. No.
I don't want to be in any nursing home.
There's no internet access at this. No,
I want to be in
I need Facebook.
the grandma apartment that's attached to your beautiful house.
Uh-huh.
That's what I want to be in. The in-law apartment. Is that what they're called? People actually build in like little apartments into their homes now for their elderly.
Right. Well, I thought it would be the opposite, that they build little apartments onto their homes for their kids, because who can afford to buy a house? Not us millennials.
Well, maybe that's how those homes will then shift and be used as, later on.
That's how it's going to be. It's going to be this great culture shift where suddenly we are a culture that lives with our grandparents. We didn't used to be, but we are now. Because that's the only way you're going to own a house, unless you want to be a slave to debt your entire life.
Jenny, that sounds very nice. We can correspond with you after. That sounds lovely.
Aww.
You don't have to, but I'm sure that they would love that. And I think that living with your parents has actually been amazing.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much. I know I've grown as a person just being out here, and it's. I'm excited and also sad about the idea of them getting internet at the house, because there is something really great about not having that option at the house, because it forces me to do things I probably wouldn't have made time for. Like I've been doing a lot of puzzles because I am a walking cliche. And
what's cliche about that?
Because everybody's doing puzzles right now. Like puzzles have been selling out like crazy. Like you can't find them. Like that's why when we go to the auction now, all the auction people have puzzles for sale.
At Walmart when I got you the puzzle because I love you.
Yes.
It was one of the only puzzles in the 1,000-piece category left on the shelf. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, everybody's buying puzzles. And, like, the puzzle manufacturers cannot keep up with the demand for puzzles. So that's why I've been buying these used puzzles, because I don't care if a piece or two is missing. Although we've lucked out so far, the 2 puzzles I put together, they're like 500 and 550-piece puzzles.
Yeah.
No pieces have been missing. But I've been trying to do this new technique. Like you guys care, but of not looking at the picture, because I used to be like, you look at the picture, you piece it out, and then I was like, you know what? I want the puzzle to tell me what it wants to be, because I've been talking so much. I've been teaching these puppetry courses to this one local 20-somethings girl.
This performing artist.
I'm sorry, I'm not using the right words here, but she's really interested in puppets and puppetry. So I've been teaching her like twice a week, 45-minute courses, and it's been so great to talk like in depth about puppetry with somebody who really wants to learn about the art and the craft and like think about it, philosophize about it. Like, how often do I get to philosophize and wax poetic about puppetry to people who want to listen and learn about that? Not often. Usually it's me saying, no, seriously, puppetry's awesome, and here I will convince you of that. And she's like, oh, I'm in. I'm all in. Tell me more. So that being said, then I go home and I look at this puzzle after I just talked for 45 minutes about material and how material influences character and how you should be listening to the material. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to listen to the puzzle. The puzzle will tell me where it wants to go. So
Yeah, but the pieces all have to go in one place eventually.
I know, but you know what's amazing is, like, for instance, I thought this one area of, like, cattails was going to be over on this side, on the left.
Oh.
But then it turns out, no, I had the whole thing upside down, and it was on the right.
Oh
Moment.
my God.
I know. I said to your mom, exciting things are happening over here. She's like putting away dishes in the kitchen. I'm like,
wow.
do you want to come and do some puzzle with me? She's like, no.
What? It's like, no, I'm doing rocket science over here, knitting. Yeah.
Yeah, she
No,
really loves to knit.
Exciting things.
She's
are
like,
happening
that's
in
what
this
my
house.
knitting's for. I don't need the puzzles. I'm like, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be in a place where I can do a puzzle, because in our apartment, there's no room for a puzzle to be out for more than, an evening.
Yeah.
So that's what's really fun. And also, I've been organizing your parents' house slowly but surely, which has also been satisfying.
Oh, I've been noticing. All of a sudden, I walked into a room and I was like, wait a second, this is clean.
Oh, the office?
Yes. It's like, because I came in there and I saw you pruning the tree.
It's slow. It's a slow progression.
Yeah, it's like, it looked like a tree before. Then when you took off all the dead leaves, it's like, oh, this is dying.
Oh, I didn't take
This
off all the
is,
dead leaves. I only removed the
this is
leaves that were
mostly
on the
dead.
floor and on the windowsill.
I think
but-
everyone has that one plant in their house. They're like, oh, but I got it from, such and such a place, and it's just rotting.
No, it's not mine to do that
And
too.
leaves
I
are
only
coming
took off
off
the
and-
leaves that were on the floor, but then I also made more room on the floor by
I
putting
watched
things
you
away.
pick it like an afro and like get all the leaves that maybe it was just shaking a little bit.
Lies. I didn't.
I can
was
see the outside from the window now. Before I could not. So it looks like way less of a tree now.
I will say that there are drawers that were not easily open and close before that now open and close, and I know where things are. So,
Wow.
and they don't live in a messy house. They don't. But it's their house, and I always ask permission first. It's not like I'm like poking around in somebody's stuff.
Yeah.
I always say, I hope it's okay that I'm organizing your junk drawer, and they're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, go for it. I did not ask permission to clean out the dog pen. I just did it because I knew.
It's your parents.
Yeah. Well, but it was also like, I wouldn't do it if I knew it would make them upset or anything. But I just like, do they care about this? No. Are they gonna think it's cool when it's done? Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Well, let's do it. Why not?
Maybe it'll be less to do later.
Yeah.
If we're here next summer.
Well,
So-
who knows, man? I mean, the way things are going, it feels like at least the spring.
I don't know.
So who
It's
knows?
hard to say.
Who knows? But
but-
things are pretty good. I mean, I feel like we've finally gotten our kids into this phase, especially our older kid, into a phase where you feel like, wait a second, everything's great. Wait, wow, is this what real life could be? Wow, things are great. Wow, amazing. But it's just another phase.
Well-
It's like the end of one phase, and you gotta recognize that another phase is coming, and that things are gonna get hard again, or different, or changed, or challenging, or something.
He and I worked very hard on getting to what you're calling great right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge amount of work on both of our parts. I'm not asking for a slow clap. I'm asking I'm just saying that I don't think it's a phase. I think it's a result of hard work and effort on both of our parts.
Isn't that always the way in phases?
No, a phase is something that just kind of like comes upon you and happens and then will eventually leave. And I don't intend for any of the progress that we made to leave, which is one of the big reasons why we're staying, because I feel like my older son especially needs stability and consistency, and that was not happening for us as much when we were back in the city because we didn't have the support system that we needed. And I know that so many people are experiencing that, have experienced that the kids are home 24/7. You're trying to do your day job. How are you able to, also, we didn't have the amount of technology at we're lucky that we have an extra iPad that neither Chad or I were using, but we just had one iPad that we weren't using. We are now talking about like, oh, do we need to get a second one for the beginning of the school year so that they both can have access to it at the same time? I mean, we're lucky, we're privileged enough to be able to have that kind of conversation and then decide whether or not we're going to buy that. But, in the apartment, shared technology was an issue. Like trying to limit the screen time was an issue because the screen time allowed for us to do our jobs, but then also at the same time, it was not the most positive choice for them. The most positive choice for them was spending time with us. And that's really what I wanted to be doing, was spending time with them, and helping them with their schoolwork, helping them with their social emotional learning, like playing board games with them every single day so that they could get better at turn taking, being a better loser. Like just today, we're working on like a math board game that's like really not like challenging at all for our older child, but then for our younger child who's 5, he had to think about the answers and stuff. So I was like, well, I know this game is supposed to be from our older child, but younger one can play too. It became very apparent within the first round because the younger one got a very lucky roll that he was going to win. And so even though we had already established the rules that if you got if you rolled a 3 and then got to this one intersection, you could pick which way you go, the older child was saying, no, I take it back.
Oh, no.
We can't play that way
backsies.
now.
Ooh.
And I said, now that's not fair, because if you had rolled that, you would be saying, haha, I'm going to win. I'm so excited. So now that somebody else is going to win, you can't do that. We can change the rules for the next time we play. But right now, this is what we said we would do. And so at first, he wasn't going to play anymore. But then he decided, no, you know what, I'm going to keep playing. And he did. And so then it was, who's going to get second, me or him? Mm-hmm. Well, it ended up being that I got a lucky roll at the very end, and I ended up getting second, and he ended up getting third. But positive thing is that he did not stomp away. He did not throw anything. He didn't say he hated that game and never wanted to play again. I mean, these are all things that might have happened within the last 4 or 5 months. Yeah. And none of that happened.
Oh,
so
good.
Huge. And so this kind of board game, which could then get graduated into like a more competitive board game, that is such a big deal for us because it's really working. It's not about the game. It's about him regulating his emotions while he's playing it and then being able to, I said, at some point you're going to be able to play a game like this and feel happy for the person who won instead of just feeling bad about yourself. You can also feel happy for the person who won. You can. And he was like...
That's hard for adults.
He's like, no way. And I said, it's possible. Yeah. I said, it doesn't have to happen today or tomorrow or anytime soon, but it's possible. You can feel both at the same time. And he was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. Give me the dice.
This is a kid who likes to win. Yes.
And it's very important to him. And he said, I hate losing. And I said, yep, that makes sense. I get it. Nobody likes to lose. But you know what? The only way that you will ever get to win is if you sometimes lose. That's the only way. Because then you learn things. And with a game like this, it's chance. There's nothing that you could be doing better. You can't roll the dice better or worse. It's chance. There are other games that you can play that has more strategy. We call it skill based and luck based. If you guys have any recommendations for games that we should be playing at home, let us know. I've been building up our gaming collection of board games. We have some nice ones that I'm really happy about. But if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear that. I've been thinking about getting Don't Break the Ice because I think that's a really fun one. You hate all my board game suggestions, so.
There's no hatred.
The look.
Not at all. Ugh. No. My the family that we got dropped off at a lot, the Lavells, had that game. Uh-huh. And I don't have any positive memories of that board game. Do you?
Yes, because it was one of the few board games I could play alone.
Oh.
Well, you can play it by yourself because only child. I thought it was fun to like see how long you could keep the little man on the ice before it all fell over.
This is why we were talking about this like cooperative versus competitive, and I just dislike competition. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's no reason for it, especially with kids games, unless there's some kind of like learning moment where you teach them, see kids, competition is terrible. Because if we all learn, to cooperate instead of compete, I think the world, especially even the art world, would be a better place.
Oh, we got some good suggestions from Jenny.
Yeah.
Yay, barrel monkeys.
What's pirate pool?
I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah. Yeah, I like games that we can all play together. Like, because now Finn is being able to play games. Once he's able to read, that'll be a game changer. Haha, see what I did there? Mom joke. Anyway. But life's pretty good. We haven't talked much about puppets. Yesterday we premiered Mystery Max Goes to the Eye Doctor. Yep. So make sure you check that one out.
No one will watch.
What are you talking about?
No, there's just nothing exciting about going to the eye doctor.
Unless you're a kid who wears glasses. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, the idea of watching a video about going to an eye doctor feels to me like more like less of like exciting action, adventure, anything could happen, and more of like an educational thing of just like, oh, okay, let's talk to an actual doctor about like what's going to happen.
Well, the same thing about going to the barber, and that was our very first one. So I think, all of these jobs are important jobs, and the doctor,
Shannon.
Dr. Shannon even said that when she was younger, she always knew that she wanted to help people. She knew she wanted to be a doctor, but she wasn't sure what. And then she was encouraged to go into ophthalmology. So I think that that's so amazing. And as somebody who wears glasses, has had operations on their eyes, and, has some eye stuff, I really appreciate eye doctors in a huge way. And maybe you feel that way about dentists, right? Like people who can be helpers and help us out. Well, my mom says good video. She worked at a place that works on lenses for a lot of her life. Yeah, so and she wears contacts as well.
No, I think as part of the series, it's fascinating to go into different places, and it's very Mr. Rogers-y, where we're meeting different people in our neighborhood, and I'm not knocking the video. I helped make the video.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, as soon as the when I was uploading it, I had those feelings of like, will people watch this, or will kids want to watch this? Like, who will want to watch this? Because there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing adventurous about going to the eye doctor. It's not like the post office where you're like, what's back there? And there's machines that sort mail, or like finding robots on the dairy farm was like, what? It was like, blew our minds and stuff. This was more like very matter of fact, and very much like if you've ever been to the eye doctor, or although maybe kids haven't, some kids haven't gone to the eye doctor. I don't think ours have.
Well, they get tested at their pediatrician, and then if it looks like there's something amiss, then they would get a referral to go to see the eye doctor. But we have a family who we're friends with, and all three of their kids have glasses, and I think that if you have a child who has less than 20/20 vision, going to the eye doctor becomes just part of your routine. Or if you have some kind of eye disease in your family, going to the eye doctor is routine. Like I know for myself, I have to go now yearly, at least, to get not just my eyes looked at, like for glasses and stuff, make sure I'm wearing the right prescription still, but also for glaucoma, because that runs in my family. And now that I'm getting older, you have to...
Now that you're 40.
I know.
That's not old.
It's not, but that's when you have to really start paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best description ever for this age, because a lot of our friends for the last 5 years have been complaining, I'm getting old. But a better description is, I have to pay attention to my health now.
Yes.
Aww.
Yes, you do. And it's important. And I find that I have to walk the walk a little bit more because of our kids. Like our kids have to go to see the doctor and get a physical. That means I need to go to see the doctor and get a physical.
Yeah.
Our kids have to brush their teeth every single day and floss. I also need to make sure that I'm doing that too.
Yes.
So
have you been using the special pink Rapunzel toothbrush that our son picked out for you?
Every other day.
Yay.
I don't believe that it's cleaning my teeth any better than the other toothbrush, only because it's meant for little kids' mouths. And
But you have a tiny head, though.
Yes, but I feel like I need a more intense scrub than what that toothbrush.
I'm wary of too much.
Well, you have soft
intense.
enamel, so
Yeah.
I don't have that problem. If anything, I get, I want to get in there.
Yeah.
But I'm yearning for a cleaning. I missed my cleaning. I keep getting texts from our dentist saying, "Hey, you missed your cleaning. Time to time to come in."
Yeah, you're gonna pay for it later if you don't.
I know, but maybe I'll pay for a cleaning out here. I'm not sure.
It'll be cheaper out here.
I'm not sure about that either. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah.
So what else is happening in puppetry? What you're working on a new video. What's going to get released next week?
So it's Tom Irish next week.
Tom Irish, the local artist.
I had to think of a title card for that video because we went out to Tom Irish is when I was growing up was his heyday, the late 80s to early 90s. Where Tom Irish figured out his niche and went all in for it, like he says in the video, where you would see his paintings of our town around town. Like he was telling us he has this one painting, the Getner's Market, that we featured in another Mr. Max video, and he'd seen that painting all over the country. He's seen it randomly at a motel up in Maine, and it continues to sell to this day. And now that he says he's retired, but I think he just needs, you never really retire as an artist, I think, especially because he can still do it and he's still working on a piece. He just needs the gumption to work again. And I hope that us going there and Max asking him these very serious questions and him delivering very intense answers about art.
Very sincere.
I hope
He's
that
very sincere.
I hope that maybe, and getting him to talk about the painting that he was supposed to be finishing, helps him to restart and keep going because he's had a long career and I'm sure he has a lot of paintings left in him. I mean, all the paintings up here, I went to shoot some B-roll there's a gallery space of his in town, and you could just walk right in. It's free, it's open. And all the paintings I noticed were all from 2014, and there's got to be like 20. So the man can be an art machine when he, when the stars are aligned.
Yeah.
So I hope that he finishes that painting that we saw, that you will see next week in the video, and that he keeps going. It was kind of tough. When we were warned by several people going out there. They're like, okay, everybody in town knows that Tom is eccentric, okay? And
we're also eccentric
well,
though, so.
but it was like, I went up there and I was like, this is just a normal guy. What are you talking about eccentric? He hasn't said anything offensive. He's just a regular guy. Yeah, do we have some kind of threshold that is higher than most people's?
I don't know. Maybe we're the eccentric ones as well.
I guess. I mean, we don't wear funny hats or anything.
He was very, very sweet, and I really appreciated how sincere he was when he was talking to the puppets, and I didn't know how it was going to come together because the interview tended to go long in certain areas that I knew might not lend to what we were trying to talk about with the actual video, but were so interesting to hear him talk about. And Chad is such an amazing editor. It's really I'm so excited for you to see it. So that's going to come out next Saturday at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in and see that. And we're going to be performing outdoors here at Springville this coming week, August 20th.
This Thursday, I believe.
Yep, it's Springville Center for the Arts Evening Out. And there's going to be all sorts of amazing things. There's going to be a performance by the Ladles, which is another artist in residence musician troupe that's in town from Brooklyn. So we haven't met them yet, but hi local friends from New York City who we will meet on the 20th.
Right, Brooklyn and Queens getting back together way out here.
They're in town working on an album. and they're singer-songwriters, so we're so excited to meet them and hear them play. Chad will be performing. What show are you going to be performing, Chad?
I think Fox Fables.
Fox Fables. And then after that, they're going to do a screening of Handmade Puppet Dreams.
No, it's going to be Mystery Max because we've done Mystery Max all over town.
Oh, sure. So Mystery Max and the case of the missing cookies, right?
I think so.
Who stole the cookies from the cookie jar? So, and then after Mystery Max performs, we are going to watch, or the Springville Center for the Arts will be hosting a screening of Handmade Puppet Dreams, which is from Heather Henson's company, Ibex Puppetry. They create these compilations of short puppet works, and so this one is geared towards families. They're going to show one of those volumes of shorts. And so it'll be a wonderful evening out. We're really hoping for good weather. And might be the one evening that our kids will get to spend outside.
In one of the pods.
In a pod on a blanket. Yes. Mm-hmm. So we're very excited about that, and we're just so thankful again to Springville Center for the Arts for allowing us this residency, granting us this residency, and to our neighbors upstairs, Love Inc., who are also the landlords of this space and being so accommodating and kind. So we continue to hope to give back to the community while we remain here. Mm-hmm. And I'm also doing some teaching while I'm here too, and so that's been very exciting to get to do that. But of course, I'm still working my regular job at the Jim Henson Foundation, and I do that 32 hours a week. So, half of our life is Wonder Spark Puppets, and the other half of our income is the foundation job.
I feel like we just listened to an ad break.
Well, it's important for me to be transparent with people so that they don't think that our entire livelihood is Wonder Spark. I do have a regular job, and I'm so thankful for that. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
But otherwise, summer work has the sun is setting on summer work. Summer camps are closing. They're
winding down.
They're winding. Excuse me. They're winding down is what I meant. And we had a bunch of not like residencies, but like steady weekly work that is now coming to an end because the summer is coming to an end, and now we're all of us puppeteers and all the big puppetry community. We're all focused on September. We're all looking at schools. Those of us that perform for schools or in schools, we're very interested in how it's going to go, and our company has kind of doubled down on streaming because of how we personally feel about our health and safety.
Yeah, and everyone else's health and safety.
A lot of our friends, I'm not saying this is everybody because everybody has different opinions, but a lot of our friends in New York City who didn't leave are like, come on, waiting for New York City to announce that they are, that the DOE is just streaming 100%.
We're just not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, who knows? It changes week to week.
I'm of two minds with it because, on one hand, the absolute safest thing is to do the full 100% streaming, remote learning, as they're saying. But, there is also this very acute understanding that this virus is going to be with us for a long time and that we do need to find a way to live with this. But the thing that I continue to have pause about is that the rate for the rest of the country is still high, and that New York, and specifically New York City, is a gateway to so many people coming and going that it feels inevitable that New York City will face another crisis situation, and because of the incubation period of the virus and so many people are asymptomatic, and you only retain antibodies for 3 months.
Yeah.
That it just feels like, oh my God, it's very possible to be in a situation where you would be exposed and not know it, and then continue to not know it for a long time. And that is the thing that makes me uncomfortable.
Well, when you go back to our place to pick up stuff like winter stuff, you may be stopped at a bridge or a tunnel, and they will swab you and probably take down your phone number.
I thought they were just going to check and see where I'm from.
I'm not sure.
Well, we'll see.
But
I'll let you know how it
if
goes.
things ramp up the way that, because everyone is saying that things are going to ramp up and be crazy and terrible in terms of the virus and infections this fall to winter, they may, like after 9/11, they closed the bridges and tunnels, and no one can get in or out.
What should I pick up while I'm at our house? I'm going to go back to the apartment for one day, literally one day, and pick up a couple of shows that we left behind. And
oh my god, I just realized that Spa Castle is probably, if Spa Castle was still around, it would probably be one of the victims of the virus,
well, they just can't operate right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay, Spa
Sorry.
Castle.
And Chuck E. Cheese. Wah, wah.
Well, don't tell Leaf. He loves the idea of Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe we could do, I've been telling Chad and his parents that I really want to do like a back to school party to get them excited about school. Maybe we could do games like Chuck E. Cheese where you earn tickets and then they could turn the tickets in or something. And we need to be finding some kind of motivation for these kids to then be wanting to do the work. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to have like a back to school party, and maybe it's something like Chuck E. Cheese, because even though it reminds me of gambling for kids, it's still there's still something about it that just like in your brain. And if that means that my kid is going to want to learn his multiplication tables, then we will do it.
Yeah, what if Chuck E. Cheese rebranded as like an education station, where instead of those terrible knockoff game like arcade games that are just phone games plugged into arcade machines with terrible functionality, or just ticket machines that you're never going to win, what if it was more for like good grades?
Well, that's what ABC Mouse is, and
Yes.
you literally do earn tickets.
Yes.
But I like the hands-onness
Oh,
of
well,
it
there
all.
you go. Chuck E. Cheese. Boom, that one's for free.
Oh.
Just
We're giving you gold here, people.
Let
gold.
ABC Mouse buy you out, or do a partnership with ABC Mouse. Chuck
You
and the
both
Mouse.
have mice.
Chuck and ABC and 1, 2, 3 and Do Re Mi, because there's an animated show, can be cousins, right? And you can go there, and if you get good grades, you get a free pizza.
We are solving the world's problems.
That is.
Right here in this podcast.
Yes.
Did you ever think that it has to happen now? All right, somebody from ABC Mouse, get on the horn. Buy out Chuck E. Cheese.
I mean, they're for sale.
Rebrand.
Aren't they? I mean, they filed for bankruptcy.
They did file for bankruptcy.
So it's easy pickings, man. And ABC Mouse, they're probably not hurting for cash right now because everyone's...
They're doing so good, I bet.
Yeah, and the Adventure Academy.
Oh,
or
that's
whatever it's
all
called.
Leaf wants for the fall is Adventure Academy, because they show it before every Wild Kratts
yeah.
episode. He
Oh,
gets
dude,
to
we
watch
got-
Wild Kratts every Sunday.
Well,
so.
see, there you go. So he's already pumped up for that.
Well, that's why I'm saying that we
Yeah.
need to get maybe a second iPad. But I was thinking that if we got a second iPad, that maybe we would get the keyboard attachment
Right.
with it, because then he could learn typing.
He could take an online typing class.
Yeah, or something.
Finally, maybe he'll be old enough for Khan Academy. We're waiting for that for a long time. Khan Academy doesn't do...
Oh, KAHN.
Yes.
Not con like a video game con.
Oh, not con like Chuck E. Cheese, I'm going to con you out of your quarters.
No, none of those
No,
cons.
Khan Academy or whatever it's called. I forget the name. No, they don't do. They only do like the base level, the easiest amount of stuff. Or I think it starts at like 5th grade or something, like level math and science. So we haven't been able to utilize some of these free online institutions for the kids yet.
Well, and really what we need to, but none of that will work if the kids aren't motivated. So we just have to be thinking about ways to motivate them. Like, Leaf is super smart, but he needs to be motivated. But then once he's motivated, there's no stopping him.
Right.
So, and he's highly competitive. So how do you harness that in a way that's still positive, allows for him to find his inner drive, but then isn't like hurting other people in his path to success. So and by that I mean like making his brother feel bad,
Right. I mean, like he feels big feelings, like all the time. It's never 10% feelings. It's 110% feelings either way, up or down.
Yep.
And I relate to that. A
Yeah,
lot.
sure. I mean, I think a lot of kids are big feeling kids.
So put me in the good nursing home. That's right. I related to you in this podcast. We're bringing it back, and we're saying goodbye. It's been over an hour. Over an hour of this podcast.
Oh, goodness. We talked a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we talked about puppets. We talked about parenting.
A little bit.
And that's our podcast, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
a lot of parenting in this one.
Yes. Well,
Parent
that's what we
heavy.
do. You know, the puppets are a part of our life, and so is being parents.
Yay. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much for listening to everybody. Once again, we are the Puppet Parent Podcast. You could head on over to puppetparentpodcast.com. I guess to find links to others where you would listen to this, but really we're broadcasting live on Facebook every single Sunday at 3:00. Next Sunday, on August 23rd, 23rd, we're going to be doing that a little bit later, I think, that day.
Oh, okay.
So probably like 4-ish. Once our show for the Puppet Show Place Theater is completed, then you and I will chat. So get ready for that. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube, and you can check out the episodes there. We're on Spotify. Like pick your poison in terms of what your podcast needs are. But if you just want the MP3s, and I know I did back when I gymmed all the time, head over to puppetparentpodcast.com and just download them there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope you have a really great week. And, if you haven't yet, be sure to like and subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, and tell other people about the work that we're doing, because we're going to continue to perform online and continue to create workshops for you and your kids. And we just love you guys so much. So we're going to get through this. We love you. You matter.